What's up, Taiwan? I'm Liao with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. A major art exhibition in South Korea has agreed to let Taiwan use its preferred name for its pavilion after a weeks-long dispute. Our reporter Reef spoke to the Taiwanese curator about it.
Taiwan will be able to use its own name at the upcoming Gwangju Biennale in South Korea, following a dispute with the exhibition's organizers over how the country's pavilion should be identified. The Culture Ministry says it was originally agreed for Taiwan to appear at the exhibition as the Taiwan Pavilion, but that organizers later began referring to it as NT MOFA, the acronym for the National Taiwan Museum of Fine Arts, without prior discussion or notice. The Gwangju Biennale Foundation said Taiwan was always going to participate as an institutional pavilion. For Taiwan Pavilion's curator Chen Xiangwen, the lack of a clear explanation was frustrating.
那我们也不清楚这个背后是不是有任何的政治问题，或者是一些主办单位这边的调整的原因，因为我们一直要不到真正的答案，所以这个问题就变得越来越严重。
The country often takes part in international events under institutional names or Chinese Taipei rather than Taiwan due to pressure from China, which claims the country as its own. But after an outpouring of support for the Taiwanese artists, including from almost half of the other participating pavilions, the organizers have now agreed to allow the name Taiwan Pavilion at the exhibition, as well as in official documents and promotional materials.
这几天是非常重要的转折点，有韩国在地的朋友们的协助，然后同时也有更多国际的友人和我们站在一起。
Taiwan's Culture Ministry says the resolution means more than simply getting Taiwan's name back. It says support from artists and cultural figures in Korea and around the world demonstrates a shared commitment to freedom, democracy, and the Gwangju spirit, referring to the force behind the city's 1980 uprising against military dictatorship. The Gwangju Biennale opens September 5th, with Taiwan's artists now set to take the stage under the name they fought to keep. Justin Wu and Reef for TaiwanPlus.
Satellite imagery shows China has built a new structure in a disputed part of the South China Sea. Reuters reported the structure is on Yagong Island near Lingyang Reef, also known as Antelope Reef, which is claimed by Taiwan, China, and Vietnam. Analysts say it could be an early warning radar facility to support military installations. China recently finished building the first part of a suspected military base on Lingyang Reef, which could play a role in a conflict over Taiwan. To learn more about the implications of China's military development on Yagong Island and Antelope Reef, our reporter Alan Liu spoke with Phoebe Pham, a visiting researcher at the Institute for National Defense and Security Research.
Based on the latest satellite imagery, do you think the new installations on Yagong Island could be an early warning radar facility? And if so, what military functions could it have?
Yagong is possibly early warning radar facility, but we should really look at the historical pattern of China. And China's historical pattern has been to not simply build these islands, but to also convert that geography into a layered network of surveillance, of logistics, and military operations. And so if we're looking at smaller South China Sea features, and how China has successfully been able to extend their surveillance, communications, command and control coverage around these larger outposts, there is a very clear precedent that there is Chinese movement in developing a wider set of radar, of antenna, of a lighthouse and observation facilities across these smaller Spratly and Parcel features.
Looking at the new installations and construction China has made in the South China Sea recently, what does this tell us about China's evolving and broader military strategy in the region?
Looking at the movements with Yagong and Antelope, the historical pattern is that China builds options before it deploys the most visible of its consequential capabilities. And so Yagong might be this complementary piece where it is part of a broader sensor and communications node that supports a nearby facility. And so they fit together, building a distributed dual-use network That, by the way, also improves China's presence in peacetime and expands its choices in a crisis or a cross-Taiwan conflict.
Military facilities in the South China Sea could play an important support role in a potential Taiwan conflict. So how should Taiwan assess the latest development and be better prepared?
I would caution away from seeing this as a new single site that determines a future conflict. But the Taiwan Strait, the East China Sea, the Western Pacific, they all remain principal theaters. And this new addition of added surveillance, of added communications redundancy, of maritime support capacity and pressure on sea lanes would sort of create a new layer of challenge for Taiwan because of these China's established outposts. And so the objective for Taiwan is not to assume that conflict is imminent, but it's that Taiwan's defense planning needs to reflect that full regional operational environment.
That was Phoebe Pham, a visiting researcher at INDSR. Canada says it's ready to respond dollar for dollar to new U.S. tariffs on Canadian goods. John Van Trieste has more.
Canadian officials inspect some of the finished products inside an Ottawa steel plant. Since Saturday, when the U.S. slapped a 50% tariff on a range of Canadian products, steel included, Canadian producers have been under renewed pressure. The tariffs may only affect around 5% of Canada's U.S. exports, but they hit some vulnerable sectors like wood products. But Canada says it's hitting back.
Today I'm announcing that Canada will match the United States tariffs dollar for dollar, rate for rate. Effective September 8, Canada will impose counter tariffs of up to 15, 25, or 50% on $27.6 billion in imports from the United States of America.
The tariffs will affect around 4.5% of U.S. imports into Canada. And they are strategic, designed not just to protect Canada, but to put pressure on the Trump administration ahead of midterms in November. For those at home, the message from Ottawa is to keep buying Canadian.
If you see a Canadian product, please support it. Because what is really important from this new chapter of the trade war is that actually when you choose a Canadian product, you're not only putting pressure on the U.S. Right now, you're protecting jobs.
U.S. President Donald Trump has traded insults with Ontario Premier Doug Ford. Trump dismissed claims that he has been trying to undermine the French language in Canada, a reference to U.S. requests for English-only packaging. And he's floated the idea of renaming Lake Ontario Lake America. And U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says Canada is letting in third-country products for transshipment to dodge U.S. tariffs.
We know that Canada allows itself to be used as a backdoor for Chinese goods. They treat Chinese goods more fairly than they do the goods that come from the people of Maine. It's insanity. And what we've said to Canada is stop it.
As the trade war escalates, people on both sides of the border are reacting.
Canadian sovereignty is the kind of in the background here. So sure, I think it's definitely an insult to Canadians. I think it's an insult to our alliance has been going back for decades. They're our closest ally. They're right next to right up the border, and it's bizarre.
It's hurting us, of course. We're doing the best we can to buy Canadian products. Unfortunately, tourism, we don't go there anymore, like a lot of us. There's other places, and I don't know, he's not going to be in presidency forever, but as far as the tariffs go, we'll survive.
What comes next will be a test for an old neighborly friendship under stress. Chris Ma and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Foreign Minister Ling Jialong will lead a delegation to Palau to attend events related to this year's Pacific Islands Forum. The Foreign Ministry says Ling will take part in a discussion with the bloc's member states. He will also visit an exhibition showcasing Taiwan's development projects in the Pacific, including initiatives in renewable energy, climate adaptation, and smart healthcare. He is scheduled to meet with Palau President Serango Whips Jr. and hold sideline exchanges with other delegations. Taiwan has participated in Pacific Islands Forum Summit events as a development partner since 1993. It was excluded from last year's gathering when all non-member states were not invited, including the U.S. and China. Taiwan's AI boom is driving a surge in electricity demand, reigniting debate over how the country generates power. As voters prepare to weigh in on nuclear energy later this year, a new poll suggests concerns over energy security are growing. Aichi reports.
As Taiwan faces growing power demand and rising energy costs, questions are mounting over how the country can keep the lights on while maintaining energy security. A new nationwide survey by Business Today found that about 70% of respondents support restarting nuclear power plants and developing next-generation nuclear technologies after being asked to weigh factors including safety, generation capacity, and deployment timelines.
其实有超过68%的民众是支持重启核电的。那进一步这一次比较新的一个结果是，我们也询问了 SMR， 就是新型的这种小型的核能，有超过70%的民众其实是表达支持的，尤其南部跟离岛的支持度最高。
Taiwan became nuclear-free in 2025 when its last operating reactor was shut down. But nuclear power once supplied nearly 20% of the country's electricity. Now, as the AI boom drives up demand for power, voters will decide in November whether to support a nuclear comeback. As a stable energy supply becomes a key pillar of Taiwan's growth, Premier Dorongtai says the government is open to new nuclear technologies, such as small modular reactors, and is assessing the restart of a nuclear power plant.
因此，在2025年今年的预算当中，我们就有一部分的预算是在讨论 SMR。我们的讨论 SMR 是进入到想跟国际先进的技术的讨论接轨。
Taiwan imports about 95% of its energy and depends heavily on overseas supplies of oil, natural gas, and coal. The survey found more than 80% of respondents support accelerated power development, as concerns grow over the country's ability to meet rising demand from the tech sector. But whether that support translates into votes later this year remains to be seen. Ryan Wu, NIT for TaiwanPlus.
Global demand for AI drove Taiwan's industrial production index to a record high in July, jumping 25% since last year. Government data shows the manufacturing sector, which makes up most of the index, rose almost 27%. Computers and optical products surged more than 95%, while semiconductors and electronic components gained over 22%. Sectors feeding the AI supply chain, such as machinery and metals, also saw steady growth. However, chemicals and automotives both dropped by around 5%. Officials expect overall growth to continue through August. Sunday will mark 5 years since TaiwanPlus was established. Ahead of that, the platform is screening its new flagship documentary. The story concerns TaiwanPlus, which is a publicly funded news outlet. An inside look at Taiwan's vast mountain ecosystem. This documentary, called Satoyama Wild Neighbors, has been 2 years in the making. It's a joint effort between TaiwanPlus, Taiwan's public television service, and Japan's NHK. The film was screened for audiences in Taipei to celebrate TaiwanPlus's 5th anniversary. Satoyama refers to the area where foothills meet the plains, creating a landscape where people and nature coexist.
In Japan, Satoyama is not just about pure nature. It's about the environment where people live together with nature, in harmony with the environment where people live.
Satoyama Wild Neighbors showcases Taiwan's unique natural environment and reflects TaiwanPlus's mission to connect audiences with the stories that shape the country.
很重要的一个观点就是跟全球的这个观众，大家对于共同关心的事物，比如像环境生态，比如像文化发展，比如像这个政治的这个议题，我们都能够透过一种最自然的方式，以及最符合国际专业的方式来进行交流。
TaiwanPlus was founded in 2021 as the country's first English-language public media platform. Taiwan's public television service oversees its operation, and its goal is to help spread Taiwan's cultural footprint and presence across the world. Now, 5 years on, the platform is looking to the future.
那我们觉得在未来的5年当中，很重要的就是如何把 TaiwanPlus 成为国际间非常重要的一个国际交流的品牌。这个我想是我们非常需要努力的。
Satoyama Wild Neighbors represents that TaiwanPlus brand, a distinctly Taiwanese story done in collaboration with regional partners, made for a global audience. Hank Xu and Leslie Liao in Taipei for TaiwanPlus. Coming up after the break, Taiwan's endangered white dolphins face a new threat as a construction project puts their habitat at risk.
There's so many things that I wish the world could see.
It is amazing to watch this captain maneuver this giant ship.
It takes 3 days to cook this. The flavor is unbelievable, incredible.
And it's my turn to make something inspired by Chef Gore. It's going to be quite a challenge.
Can you imagine that?
It's surreal, yes, so real.
I can't give up. I got some ass kicking to do.
Nice move.
We're pushing each other to explore and experiment in new, different ways.
5, 4, 3, 2.
A warm welcome to TaiwanPlus News.
Exploring the issues that matter to you.
Not just to Taiwan, the whole world is watching.
很多时候是我们眼睛看不到的地方。
We might encounter mishaps and mistakes along the way. But at the end of the day,
it just transmits something straight from the heart. Yes.
Cheers.
Bon appetit. It is about the fun and it's about the glamour and it's also about something much deeper than that.
Sometimes you just gotta seize the opportunity. You just gotta do it.
Have a place where you're appreciated for you exactly as you are and where you can shine and be seen.
How does Taiwan stay on the forefront of innovation in a world of uncertain tariffs, wars, and shifting geopolitics? Get answers and more. From award-winning programs to exclusive Mandarin dramas. Download the TaiwanPlus app to any device today. No ads, no bias, just facts. TaiwanPlus.
For more stories from Taiwan and Osaka, download the TaiwanPlus app.
Welcome back to What's Up Taiwan. Vice President Bi Kim-hsiao says building up Taiwan's drone defenses is vital to deterring a Chinese invasion.
不排除当初普丁在决定要去用武装来侵略乌克兰的时候，我们不排除他也是有误判，也就是说过度自信自以为很快就能够拿下乌克兰，所以他做出了这个决定。那我们其实也不能够让北京政权误判台湾自我防卫的决心。
Xiao made the comments in an interview with Taiwan's central news agency. It comes as a $6.6 billion special drone budget remains stalled in the legislature. Xiao warned that if Taiwan fails to beef up its asymmetric defenses, Beijing could take that as a signal to invade. She also noted the business potential and non-military uses for drones. A new sport is taking off in Taiwan, drone soccer. And local schools are training up teams in preparation for international competitions. Our reporter Sandy Chi has the details.
And with that, a score. This is drone soccer, a sport that requires mastering high-speed flight control, precise manual piloting through small hoops, and intense full-contact aerial combat.
无人机足球是一种很类似足球，然后我们会操控无人机在球场里面飞行，然后攻击手要进球，防守要防守。
Originating in South Korea, drone soccer has been gaining traction in Taiwan in recent years.
无人机足球是5年前带进来的。那无人机足球，因为它就是很适合初学者，因为一般无人机它一撞到东西就掉下来了。那除了损失以外，还会降低它的学习热情。那无人机足球它有一个球罩保护，所以它碰撞没有关系。那另外一个，因为它又有竞争，学生们对于可以竞争的东西就会特别感到兴趣。
It has also been growing in popularity around the world. At the 2025 FIDE Drone Soccer World Cup, Taiwan's national team earned a 4th place finish in the 20-class division. With the players showing what they've got on the world stage, Taiwan's Zhonghua Drone Sports Association aims to establish official drone soccer competition venues across the nation, with the first one set up this April in Taipei, a FIDE 40-class standard drone soccer field. To further promote the sport, here at a high school in Taipei, students are getting a chance to try their hand at drone soccer.
所以我们发觉学生们在参加整个无人机的过程里面，他们除了无人机竞赛可以对外比赛有荣誉感、团队合作，甚至于他们为了要能够争取佳绩，无人机的结构、无人机的里面的电池、控制方式、竞赛规则，都会让同学们花很多时间投入。我们学生在学习的时候，其实让学习的知识游戏化，并且能够成为竞技活动，是非常棒的过程。
From understanding drone components to learning how to maintain and maneuver the aircraft, kids receive hands-on training in every aspect of drone operation.
要学习这些东西的话，其实就操控，然后要懂得评分各种部位，像有工程师、攻击手、防守、上场比赛的，还有候补等等的，或负责指导的也非常重要。
Each player also has their own designated role to master.
我是攻击手。攻击手的话，其实个人的个性等等的很重要。像是我的个性比较冲一点，但是我比较会使用技巧，可以躲别人绕过他，然后呢再进球得分。团队合作当然不简单，但是我觉得整个团队里面最重要的就是默契。
In competition, students learn to perform under pressure while communicating with their teammates.
The sport is all about teamwork and how to control the drones. So how do I do it again?
左边摇杆内八，然后往上飞。
Okay, like this. And up you go. I got it!
For many, drone soccer is more than just a sport. It's also a way to learn about improving and never giving up.
有时候你会飞得歪歪的，然后有时候你会觉得很怪，然后又不会处理。我会有点难过，然后我会觉得要改进，然后哪里飞不好。
As the sport continues to take off in Taiwan, supporters hope it will inspire a new generation of students to reach new heights. Alex Chen and Tani Chi for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's endangered white dolphins are facing renewed pressure, with conservationists warning that a new construction project is threatening their habitat and could push them closer to extinction. Yvonne Young has more.
Conservationists staged a protest hoping to stop land reclamation work at the port of Taichung. They say the construction work threatens the habitat of the already endangered Taiwanese white dolphin.
这个案子有很大的争议，3月的时候我们就揭露了，它规避环评、规避野保的审查，现在又要配合行政院要解决废土之乱，所以呢就要许可中部5县市的营建剩余土石方，在9月起要用来填海造陆。
Protesters are worried more than just dirt and rock will be used in the project. They say construction waste may contain debris and pollutants that could threaten the dolphins.
他们的压力会增加，然后这些压力会影响到他们的健康，降低他们游泳的速度跟觅食的效率，会增加他们被船舶撞击的风险。
An official from the Transportation Ministry, which is in charge of the port, came out to accept a protest group's petition.
我们会在会同那个港公司跟环境部，在就今天那个协会的这些诉求的部分，依法审慎研议啊，然后再做一个妥适的回应。
With only a few dozen of the dolphins left in the wild, conservationists are hoping for a win here to keep Taiwan's waters safe for this critically endangered species. Devin Tsai, Ted Chen, and Yvonne Yang for TaiwanPlus.
A dead pig infected with African swine fever has washed ashore on Taiwan's outlying Jinmen Islands. Local authorities made the announcement on Tuesday after discovering the carcass earlier this week. This is the third time it's happened this year. Jinmen is a short distance from China, and there are more than 5,000 pigs within 10 kilometers of where the carcass washed up. Pork exports from Jinmen to the rest of Taiwan have been banned through the end of the month as a precaution. Taiwan remains free of African swine fever, which is fatal to pigs but does not affect humans. The city of Kaohsiung is offering financial assistance to residents and businesses affected by recent flooding. Owners of businesses and factories flooded to a depth of less than 50 centimeters can apply for around $300, as can residents who lost home appliances. Assistance is also available for owners of damaged cars and scooters. That's on top of the central government's plan to give affected households up to $1,000 each. Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, we head back to Kaohsiung, where some residents managed to have a little fun at the inundated Central Park Metro Station despite the floodwaters and damage to the area. I'm Leslie Liao. Take care and see you next time.